Some of you showing up late to your marriage all the time. You know something's bothering her. You know something's bothering him. You know you've messed up. You know you made a mistake. Nonchalant. How can we invest in our marriages? I'm going to share with you guys 6 ways that you can invest in your marriage. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. We'll put some verses on the screen for you. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. First way you can invest in your marriage is time. Give your wife some time. Give your husband some time. Cuando andaban de novios, gave her all the time in the world. When you're trying to conquer her, when you're trying to win her over, you're giving her all the time in the world. You were staying up 1, 2, 3 in the morning. You hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up. I'm not gonna hang up, I just love hearing you snore. Now you're like, shut up. Time? Can you make some time? Go get dinner together. Go to the movies. Cuando andan de novios, y'all didn't miss any premieres of any movie. When's the last time you've taken her to the movies? Some of y'all would sound like wolves when you go, ooh, Pastor, I don't remember. Philippians 2 verse 4 says, don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. What can you invest in your marriage? Thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness. What matters to your wife? What matters to your husband? What's important for your wife? What's important for your husband? What's a big deal to them? Maybe it's not a big deal to you, but what is a big deal to them? You know, it's not a big deal for me to throw my clothes outside of the hamper. I just leave them there. But it's a big deal to my wife. And when my wife has a toddler and a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old, and she's feeding the newborn baby, and you know, she has a direct view of the bathroom, I'm pretty sure the last thing she wants to see is my calzoncillos right there on the floor. She said amen. I better write that one down, Jesse. I show love to my wife. I put away my dirty socks and my shoes. She just told me my shoes. She's calling me out on my shoes. I have more shoes than she does, but it's because I wear boots, and it's just like, I don't know. Anyways, thoughtfulness. Put some thought into your marriage. Remember that proverb that we read? It said that the person that thinks and works hard, right? That plans and works hard. What are you planning in your marriage? When Jesus teaches on forgiveness, it's after he teaches on the Lord's Prayer, right? Here we go. There we go. This is going to be right. Colossians 3 verse 13, make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. What can you invest in your marriage? Invest forgiveness. Invest time, invest thoughtfulness, invest forgiveness. Right? Forgiveness. You come for counseling with me, that's I'll tell you right now, that's what I'm gonna tell you to do. Forgive her, forgive him. Last week on the message, if you weren't here, you can look it up on YouTube. But on last week's message, at the very end, I taught on how we can seek forgiveness, because many of us have offended people. We all have, right? We should seek forgiveness, but then I also taught on how to forgive, because sometimes forgiving is hard. But Jesus says the way you forgive is the way the Father will forgive you. Right? So you don't forgive, good luck on getting the Father to forgive you. Right? We have to learn to forgive. And during the week, I was really moved because one of my friends came up to me, he was like, Pastor, even though the message was for marriage, that part that you taught on forgiveness, it was a big blessing for my family. Right? Invest time, invest thoughtfulness, invest forgiveness. Let's go to Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 4. I'll put it on the screens for you. It says, he escorts me to the banquet hall. It's obvious how much he what? How much he loves me. Right? Fourth thing that you can invest in your marriage is affection. Affection. And you know what? You need to figure out, how does my wife like to receive affection? And wives, you need to figure out, how does my husband like to receive affection? Different people, different things. There are some ladies that they like affection is that when you're walking out in public, that you would hold their hand. There's others that the way they like for you to show affection is that you would help out when you see them working instead of supervising. No, that you would help out. 99% of men, wives, I'm talking to married people, 99% of husbands want you to be intimate with them. That's the way they want you to show them affection. That's the way God wired man. Do you know how your spouse enjoys to receive affection? I never even thought about it. Is anyone wondering why we're having issues in our marriage? You haven't thought about it, that means you haven't been sowing thoughtfulness. You haven't thought about it, that means that you haven't even been taking the time to think about it. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 16 says, always be joyful, 17. Never stop praying, 18. Be thankful in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you who belong to Christ Jesus. Fifth thing that you can invest in your marriage is prayer. Pray for your wife. Pray for your husband. I pray for my wife every day. Okay? Let me tell you, no one will pray for Nayeli more than her mom and me. No one will pray for Nayeli more than her mom and me. Okay? No one, and people tell me all the time, oh, Pastor, I'm praying for you. Most people that tell me that, they're about to ask me for a favor in a couple of weeks, so they're trying to butter me up, right? No one's gonna pray for me. And if you are praying, I hope you're praying for your pastors. I would appreciate it. I need a lot of prayer, as you can tell. But no one will pray for me more than my mom and my wife, right? No one should pray for me more than them. If you're praying for me more than them, they're slacking. I pray for the church, and sometimes marriages come to mind, or I know things are happening, and I pray for marriages, but I'm not gonna pray for your wife the way you should be praying for your wife. I'm not gonna pray for your husband the way you should be praying for your husband. You need to invest in prayer, right? The last thing I'll share with you is in Ephesians 5, verse 33, and it says, so again, I say each man must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. So love and respect in your marriage. So love and respect in your marriage. Marriage represents the relationship between Jesus Christ and the church. Jesus is the groom, the church is the bride. Right? Show love and respect in marriage. Let me tell you, hermanas, married hermanas, you know what's the number one thing, I guarantee this without even talking to your husband, the number one thing that men want to come home to is a house where they're respected. It's a house where they're respected. At work, for many of you, your husband at work, he's a boss. He's a manager, he's a foreman, he's a general foreman, he's a supervisor, he's a superintendent. At work, people dare not to disrespect him because then they're gonna meet out in the parking lot and settle it. Right? Then he comes home, right? And he comes home to disrespect. He comes home to, oh, my mom was right about you. He comes home to, oh man, worst mistake ever. He comes home to that. It's important that you would understand that just like they respect him at work, he needs respect when he gets home. A lot of men, they get tons of respect at work, and you know what? Even at work, they not only get respect, but you know what they also get? They also get paid. They get respect and paid. And then they come home to disrespect and someone who takes away their check. I don't know if life is fair. I don't know if I'm encouraging anyone to get married, but anyways. This is important stuff. Because the standard that God puts for us in marriage is super high. All right, I'm gonna finish with this. This is marriage advice and it's also financial advice, all right? When it comes to investing, the sooner the better. When it comes to investing, the sooner the better. The sooner in your marriage, the sooner in your finances, the better. Listen, parents, grandparents, young people, if you start investing in your teens when you get your first job, when you're a kid, when you open up that lemonade stand, in your teens when you get your first job, right after you graduate college or high school or whatever it is, and you've got that job in your early 20s, all what you need is to invest a spoon for the rest of your life. You just need that little spoon. You just invest in a little spoon. But if you wait for your 30s, a spoon's not gonna cut it. Now you need a shovel, right? You need to invest with a shovel. If you wait for your 40s, right? Man, a spoon, don't even talk about a spoon. A shovel's not gonna, you need a backhoe. You need like the máquina, right, the machine. If you're gonna wait for your 40s to start investing for retirement. It's the same thing in marriage, right? The sooner the better. You start investing in your marriage time, thoughtfulness, forgiveness, affection, prayer, love, and respect. Since the moment you say, I do, you won't be calling me for counseling, I can tell you that much. You won't need me for counseling, I'll tell you that much. Right? Everybody get your cell phones, take a picture, post it on your social media, share it with somebody that needs it. Share it with the prima that always tells you to pray for her. Tell the pastor to pray for me and my husband. No, tell him to come to church. That's what she needs, but anyways, right? I'll give you some time to take a picture and then we're gonna pray. Go back, read the verses, and meditate. Spend some time, some thoughtfulness on how you can invest these things into your marriage.